Hello again. Today is Wednesday, December 7th, 2022. I just read an article about text messaging at a bar or a restaurant, but now I would like to read one more article about IPFS, that's interplanetary file system. We're going to have a meeting with IPFS Korea Data Center and their team, and also Filecoin Foundation. So that's the next Wednesday. I have been reading several articles about IPFS, and I also invested about 90,000. Wait a minute, $9,000 into IPFS Filecoin myself. I judge it's a little bit risky, but you have to sometimes take a risk and invest. So that's what I did. I hope my Filecoin skyrockets soon within, soon. But I hope my Filecoin's value will increase 100 times or more within 10 or 15-year time frame. So let's take a look into what the IPFS is all about. I am trying to read this article to learn about English. I would like to practice English pronunciation and memorize words, expressions, and sentences that I judge would come in handy later on when I interact with people. Especially next Wednesday, I have a meeting with IPFS folks in Korea, along with Filecoin Foundation. So let's take a look and learn more and become more knowledgeable. Read more about the state of IPFS in JS in 2022 and 23. I don't know what the JS is, but IPFS powers the distributed web, a peer-to-peer hypermedia protocol designed to preserve and grow humanity's knowledge by making the web upgradable, resilient, and more open. Get started how it works. Resilient, upgradable, resilient, and more open. That's the crux of the IPFS goal. By making the web upgradable, resilient, and more open. The web of tomorrow needs IPFS today. IPFS aims to complement HTTP in order to build a better web for all of us. Today's web is inefficient and expensive. HTTP downloads, or 下载 in Chinese, downloads files from one server at a time, but peer-to-peer IPFS retrieves pieces from multiple nodes at once, enabling substantial bandwidth savings. With up to 60% savings for video, IPFS makes it possible to efficiently distribute high volumes of data without duplication. I'm not sure if there wouldn't be any duplication, but that's good strategy, okay? Without duplication. So peer-to-peer retrieves pieces from multiple nodes at once, enabling substantial bandwidth savings. Okay. So we have network bandwidth savings. Today's web can't preserve humanity's history. The average lifespan of a web page is 100 days before it's gone forever. The medium of our era shouldn't be this fragile. IPFS makes it simple to set up resilient networks for mirroring data, and thanks to content addressing, files stored using IPFS are automatically versioned. That's another good term to use in a meeting. Content addressing. Not node addressing. It's a content addressing. Stores using IPFS are automatically versioned. That's a good term. Automatically versioned. Content addressing. Yep. So this guy has a crown. Is the king of the network. But every participating node is the user and the network keeper. Today's web is centralized, limiting opportunity. The internet has turbocharged innovation by being one of the great equalizers in human history. But increasing consolidation of control threatens that progress. IPFS stays true to the original vision of an open, flat web by delivering technology to make that vision a reality. Make that vision a reality. Turbocharged innovation threatens that progress. Today's web is addicted to the backbone. IPFS powers the creation of diversely resilient networks that enable persistent availability with or without internet backbone connectivity. This means better connectivity for the developing world during natural disasters or just when you are on a flaky coffee shop Wi-Fi. Flaky, yeah, that's no good. Flaky, intermittent, sometimes on, sometimes off. Flaky, he's a flaky. His character is a flaky. Flaky coffee shop Wi-Fi. Install IPFS. Join the future of the web right now. Just choose the option that's right for you. Store and provide the files. IPFS desktop. IPFS for everyone. The IPFS desktop app offers menu bar, tray, shortcuts, and an easy interface for adding, pinning, and sharing files. Plus a full IPFS node ready for heavy-duty hosting and development. Great for developers and less experienced users alike. That's good expression. Great for developers and less experienced users alike. Install IPFS desktop later. Command line install all IPFS, no frills. Just want to use IPFS from your terminal? Follow these step-by-step instructions. Follow these step-by-step instructions. Yeah, I'm trying to memorize this expression because that's the standard expression that you encounter when you install software programs or agents on your computer. For getting up and running on the command line using the Go implementation of IPFS. Includes directions for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Install the IPFS CLI command line interface. CLI stands for command line interface. Usually you interact with the main server through CLI on the dummy terminal. Or if your computer is quite modern, probably it uses emulator for CLI. IPFS companion. Add IPFS to your browser. Get IPFS // address support and more in your browser with this extension for Chromium and Firefox. Get IPFS companion. Get IPFS // address support and more in your browser, in your existing browser, right? Like Chromium and Firefox with this extension for Chromium and Firefox. IPFS cluster. Orchestrate multiple IPFS nodes, automatically allocate, replicate, and track your data as a global pin set distributed among a swarm of peers. Get IPFS cluster. Automatically allocate, replicate, and track your data as a global pin set distributed among a swarm of peers. For developers, Go implementation. The original IPFS implementation, IPFS core, daemon server, CLI tooling, and more. Get kudos for your children. Kudos for software developers. Kudos for KT, #1 carrier in Korea. And me, my name is Park Young-sam, and I will be a leader in my company. JS implementation. IPFS implemented entirely in JavaScript for a world of possibilities in the browser and Node.js. JS implementation. IPFS implemented entirely in JavaScript for a world of possibilities in the browser and Node.js. Get JS IPFS. How IPFS works. Here's what happens when you add a file to IPFS. Whether you are storing that file on your own local node or one operated by a pinning service or IPFS enabled app. Pinning service or IPFS enabled app. When you add a file to IPFS, your file is split into smaller chunks, cryptographically hashed and given a unique fingerprint called Content Identifier, CID, not caller ID. Caller ID is basically the caller's telephone number that shows up on the screen of your smartphone. Content Identifier, unique fingerprint. This CID acts as a permanent record of your file as it exists at that point in time. When other nodes look up your file, they ask their peer nodes who's storing the content, referenced by the file's CID. When they view or download your file, they cache a copy and become another provider of your content until their cache is cleared. A node can pin content in order to keep and provide it forever, or discard content it hasn't used in a while to save space. This means each node in the network stores only content it is interested in, plus some indexing information that helps figure out which node is storing what. Pin content. Indexing information. If you add a new version of your file to IPFS, its cryptographic hash is different, and so it gets a new CID. Cryptographic hash. Cryptographic hash. Cryptographic hash. This means files stored on IPFS are resistant to tampering and censorship. 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 Any changes to a file don't overwrite the original, and common chunks across files can be reused in order to minimize storage costs. Really, any changes to a file don't overwrite the original, and common chunks across files can be reused in order to minimize storage costs. However, this doesn't mean you need to remember a long string of CIDs. IPFS can find the latest version of your file using the IPNS decentralized naming system, and DNS link can be used to map CIDs to human-readable DNS names. Human-readable DNS names, IPNS, DNS link. IPNS decentralized naming system and DNS link can be used to map CIDs to human-readable DNS names. Take a closer look. Want to dig in? Check out the docs. Hands-on learner, explore Protoschool. Curious where it all began? Read the white paper. IPFS can help here and now. No matter what you do with the web, IPFS helps make it better today. Archives. Oh, what? Archivists. Storing archival data using IPFS enables deduplication, clustered persistence, and high performance, empowering you to store the world's information for future generations. Clustered persistence, deduplication. Service providers providing large amounts of data to users. Storing on IPFS could help you slash bandwidth costs thanks to its use of secure peer-to-peer content delivery. Researchers, if you are working with or distributing large data sets, storing that data using IPFS can help speed up performance and unlock decentralized archiving. Blockchain developers, IPFS content addressing enables you to store large files off-chain and put immutable permanent links in transactions. What the fuck? Let me stop here.